Georgie. What a nice boat. Do you want it back? Why don't you come with me on this review into the sewer? We all float down here. Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about It 2017. This is a fantastic movie, but just to be clear, I have seen now all three movies. I decided that since It and It Chapter 2 have things that Chapter 2 resolves that It left open, so I had to watch both of them so I could review this because I thought it would be a better idea than to be wondering what are they going to do about this. So I have seen Chapter 2. I will not be showing you that until I have reviewed Chapter 2. Then I will release my ranking right after. But after, just so you know, Chapter 2's review will be coming right after you see this. So about 5 minutes after this is posted, Chapter 2's review will be out. So just so you know, look forward to that. And for this review, let's start by talking about The Good. I'm just going to say, this is one of the few remakes that actually manages to beat the original. Finally, we get a good horror remake, and believe me, there's some really bad ones when it comes to horror remakes. So this is just one of those remakes that is not trying to be better than the original, and yet it already kind of is better than the original. I'll just start by saying this: Pennywise is better than he is in the original. He is better when it comes to his look. His look is better. Bill Skarsgård is just better at doing this like physical stuff with himself, so so his performance by Skarsgård is a better version, and he's just so captivating, and it's also really good. And I'm also going to mention how this is just such a movie that is good at making attention to details. Like, I'm going to show you a scene from the opening right when Georgie discovers it. Let me show you. Georgie. So if you take a look, right when Pennywise first opens his eyes are yellow, and right after that, when you come and he goes more into the light where you can see part of his face, you notice that his eyes turn blue. Rewind if you want to see it again, but you'll notice that his eyes do turn blue. If you're wondering why, it's because Georgie's mother's eyes are blue, and also blue is a more trusting color than yellow is when it comes to the eyes. So that's something that Pennywise uses, and in case you're wondering, I'm actually going to spoil something from Chapter 2. They do that same thing again. When Pennywise is talking to a girl that he, yes, eventually kills, you notice that his eyes are not yellow. He turns them blue again. And that's something that he always does because he's trying to trick them, and it does work. And then watch the scene right before he attacks. And if you notice that, then you'll see that right before he attacks, when Georgie's reaching for the boat, you see that Pennywise's eyes go from the blue color that they were most of the scene, and they turn back to yellow, meaning that he's about to attack. Because the blue means like he's hypnotizing them and trying to be friendly. The yellow eyes means he's about to do something bad, or he is trying to turn it back to blue. But in that case, he was trying to kill Georgie. So I really love their attention to detail that I noticed it because I was paying really close attention because I was captivated by that scene, and it's just such an amazing scene in that. So if you noticed this, let me know down below. If you didn't, then cool, and I am actually really surprised I actually managed to find something like that. That's a really good Easter egg. Another really cool thing is the Losers Club. I love them, most of them more than the original. Like, Richie is a standout character, very funny. And I like that Eddie is much more, he's no longer this, like, big pussy that he is in the 1990 version. And he has much more of a argument with himself. He's much wittier. He has more of a banter with Richie, which is really fun. And just the way that he interacts, and he has this, like, little snappiness to him at times, and I love how they portray him. He is way better than he is in the 1990 version. And I know that there are some people that complain about the digital effects that they use on Pennywise. I'm not too angry about that. I get that it does get a little out of hand at times, because if you take a look, whenever he opens his mouth, the teeth that he uses, like when he bites down on Georgie, those teeth are CGI. But it doesn't bother me too much with the film. I can get over it, and it's just such a good film that really knows what it's doing. Funny story, when I first looked at it, I thought that, based on what I was told something, and I assumed that Pennywise was some demon that was sent by some very demon-like child. Like, I thought that apparently Georgie was some sort of demon that sent Pennywise to kill people, and that Georgie was actually in charge of Pennywise, and that apparently Pennywise was afraid of Georgie. Nope, quite the opposite. I was wrong, and big time. Wow, that was idiotic. And I also thought that Chapter 2, we actually would get like a scene with the military trying to kill Pennywise. If they ever do a Chapter 3, I would love to see that, like getting an action scene involving everyone, like the military going after Pennywise and him just destroying all of them. That would be awesome. I'm just going to say that. I would love that. Whew. And it's just such a really good movie, and Bill is just such a fantastic, just the way that he's portrayed, and they actually do some different things that they do in the 1990 version, like, in the 1990 version, we find out that Georgie's body was found, and he, with his arm missing, and which was a very awful detail to hear in this, and although it's probably better than getting to see his arm literally ripped off like you do see in this movie. But it's also better, it's also really cool because we actually, apparently Georgie was never found because he was taken into the sewer, it allows for Bill to keep on trying to find him and allowing him to have closure on this sort of thing. Another fantastic detail I would like to mention is this movie has the balls, the guts, it's not afraid to kill kids, because horror movies traditionally will be able to do a lot of things, but they'll have like this cover blanket that they'll put around the kids to be like, nope, they're not in harm's way. Like even things like Halloween 28. Actually, no, they did kill a kid once, but they did spare a baby. But most times, they stay away from the kids because they don't want to go too far. This film does not have that worry. It is like, hey, we can kill kids. We're fine with that, and they do it quite a few times. There's and Chapter 2 does it more than this one, and it does it in a lot more poor taste. But this one is just super good at killing the kids, and like. A lot of the times, the kids sometimes deserve it. Like, it's mostly the bullies that are killed. And I really like how they managed to make the bullies so unlikable that you get to see them killed in some really bad ways. Like, one of them, like, makes his own, like, flamethrower with a spray paint and a lighter. It makes a flamethrower with it. And the way that he is viciously attacked by Pennywise, oh, man, that was satisfying. And it's just such a fantastic movie that is just so good at what it's doing, and I love it. I cannot say it any other way. If I had to fault this movie, like I said, the CGI at points is a bit distracting. A bit distracting at some points. Nowhere near as bad as it could be, but it's still not the best. And also, I'm going to mention Stanley. I did not like Stanley. I felt like his writing was really bad. And if you know the storyline for what happens in the second half, or if you read the book or saw the 1990 miniseries, you know that Stanley is not going to be getting more involved than he is in the first half. And it feels like he's completely underutilized. He's not given much to do. He has no chemistry with anyone else. And he just feels so unlikable at certain points and boring. So he was a sore throat, sore thumb, and whenever the scene focuses on him, especially his fear scene, like that, like woman painting thing, that was awful CGI. That is really bad CGI. Like that is unforgivable, and I really did not like that CGI, and so I wasn't a big fan of that. But overall, I would say that this film is fantastic. It is a 9 out of 10 for me. One of my favorite movies, like top 30 probably. Just, I'm not going to be rating it in stars. Go over to when I review Chapter 2, which if you're just pressing this video, then it could already be up. So I'm not going to be doing it because there are some things that it opens that chapter 2 has to close out. So I'm going to be talking more about this one in the other one, and I don't want to give my thoughts on it. So because chapter 2 does do some things that I need to address before I can rate this one, because there are some things that could ruin the film for me or elevate the film for me based on what chapter 2 does. Thank you all so much for watching this. Please like and subscribe if you want to, but if you don't want to, that's fine. And please at least check out my It Chapter 2 review, which probably is already out by now. If not, wait about like 5 minutes and it'll be out. And thank you all so much for watching. Have a good one.